all the Hindu people, wherever they live, they are our brothers and sisters. And by now you must be knowing it that we are not an entertainment organization. Our main purpose is, on this Hindu platform, we discuss the issue confronting Hindu nations. Whenever there is any problem in India or in the world anywhere, if there is any problem in Pakistan, if there is any problem for Hindus in Bangladesh, we organize demonstrations sometime in front of United Nations, sometime in front of Pakistan consulate, sometime we go everywhere, sometime go to our Indian consulate also if they are doing something against Hindu society. And what else we do, we have got a very thousands, hundreds of thousands emails, people on our list. So whenever any Hindu has any injustice anywhere, we send millions of emails to our people and we tell them, and we want them to raise their voice, we raise their voice, and we actually make them to do something. We inform them. If there is any problem, we inform our email list. We alone then you are the Hindu, when the very name Hindu sends through you a galvanic shock of strength, then and dearest to you. Then and then alone you are a Hindu, when the distress of anyone bearing the name Hindu comes to your heart and makes you feel as if your son or daughter were in distress. So we want to create that feeling amongst all the Hindus. Today, we have two movements.
Keeping its value here, scriptures. What our Shashwat Dharma teaches, that when you connect with your own self, you will realize that you resides within your as Jyoti Shama Pita Jyoti Stamsa Parmuchate, in every heart and form of light. And through divine eye, I can show you your true self. I can this attachment that you are engrossed in. And at that level, you will realize here in this battlefield, because you are here to end unrighteousness. And when the Lord bestows His blessings upon Arjuna, opens his third eye, what does Arjuna says? Divi Surya Sahasrasya Bhavedaka Paduttata. I'm seeing the lights of thousands of suns within my own self. And seeing courage, inspiration, that power came inside of him, and we all know the results. What was the end of that war? Want to end the separation between us, among us, and have the united feeling. Vivekananda said, you will realize who they are, you will realize who you are, and there will be no fight. You will become one. We must knowledge, Arjuna, I am giving to you. And when we find such a teacher who can give us the same knowledge, make us not, because we do
है। और वहाँ पे डॉक्टर सुब्रमण्यम स्वामी और बच्चे यहीं पैदा हुए, उनको हम लोगों ने हिंदी पढ़ाई। उसके बाद धीरे धीरे हमारे स्कूल खुलते गए और आज हम लोग 4000 से ऊपर विद्यार्थियों को, बच्चों को हिंदी पढ़ा रहे हैं। जो बच्चे इस देश में पैदा हुए हैं और जिनकी मातृभाषा अंग्रेजी मान सकते हैं, और मेरी पत्नी बैठी हुई है यहाँ पे, उन्होंने हिंदी की 25 पुस्तकें लिखी हैं जो हम लोग हिंदी यूएसए के द्वारा उसको प्रयोग में लाते हैं हमारे पाठशालाओं में। पुस्तक के बारे में मैं कुछ बताना चाहूंगा कि ये पढ़ना क्यों आवश्यक है। सबसे बड़ा कारण तो ये है कि हम बोलते हैं कि हमें अपनी सभ्यता और संस्कृति के बारे में ज्ञान है, लेकिन हम उसको डिफेंड नहीं कर पाते। अगर हमारी कोई बुराई कर रहा है, छोटी छोटी बातें कि ये लेडीज बिंदी क्यों लगाती हैं, पैर क्यों पड़ते हैं, ऐसी चीजें अमेरिकन पूछते हैं और हम लोग उसका उत्तर नहीं दे पाते। जो हम तुलना करते हैं आजकल, हम लोग पश्चिमी चीजों से तुलना करते हैं कि जो पश्चिम में हो रहा है वही मापदंड है। लेखक राजीव मल्होत्रा जी ने बोला नहीं, ऐसा नहीं, हम लोग भारतीय सनातन धर्म के जो हमारे मापदंड हैं, स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं, उनको लेके हम वेस्ट की तुलना करेंगे और फिर हम देखेंगे कि किसका पलड़ा जो है वो भारी पड़ता है। तो ये शोध कार्य उन्होंने बहुत ही बारीकी से किया है और उसके बाद ये उन्होंने दिखाया है कि हमारा जो सनातन सभ्यता का जो पलड़ा है वो बहुत भारी है और इनकी चीजें बहुत हल्की हैं। तो ये बहुत ज्यादा समय नहीं लेते हुए मैं आपसे यही अनुरोध करूंगा और मैं डॉक्टर सुब्रमण्यम स्वामी जी से भी अनुरोध करूंगा कि वो भी जब बोले तो इस पुस्तक के बारे में अवश्य बोले, क्योंकि उन्होंने जितने इस पुस्तक को अच्छी तरह से पढ़ा है, मुझे नहीं लगता कि आप लोगों में से किसी ने पढ़ा होगा, तो वो जो इसके बारे में बता सकते हैं। मैं चाहूंगा कि 15-20 सेकंड में जरूर बोले। इसमें ऐसे अंतर दिखाए हैं राजीव मल्होत्रा जी ने कि वो अंतर हमको क्यों बचा के रखने हैं। वो अंतर हमको इसलिए बचा के रखने हैं कि या तो आप बचा ले अंतर या उनके जैसे हो जाए। सेमनेस थ्योरी जो है, जो डाइजेशन की हमको पचाने की जो प्रक्रिया चल रही है, अगर हम बोलेंगे कि भाई हम सेम हैं, तो सेम बोले कि आई एम सेम एज यू और यू आर सेम एज मी। जो आदमी उच्च प्लेटफॉर्म पे खड़ा होकर बोलता है कि भाई आप मेरे जैसे बन जाओ तो सब बराबर हैं, इसका मतलब वो हमारी जो चीजें हैं उसको मिटा के कहता है कि हमारी चीजें आप अपना लो, तभी वो कहता है कि हम बराबर के माने जाएंगे। कि जब हम वेस्टर्न जो है चीजें अपनाएंगे तभी हम बराबर के माने जाएंगे, ऐसी इनकी मान्यता है। तो इस पुस्तक ने उसको उल्टा किया है और बताया है कि हम क्यों इतनी वर्षों से हम जो गुलाम रहे हैं उसके कारण हमारे लिए मानसिकता बैठी है। लेकिन अगर हमारा इतिहास देखा जाए तो हमारे में जो चीजें हैं वो बहुत ही उच्च हैं, उनको बचा के रखना है। ये पुस्तक बाहर टेबल पे उपलब्ध है और बहुत ही सस्ती है, अमेरिका के स्टैंडर्ड के अनुसार मात्र $15 की पुस्तक है। और जो लोग 25 से ज्यादा पुस्तक लेना चाहें वो $10 की भी हम उसको उपलब्ध करवा रहे हैं। मैं चाहता हूं कि each and every Hindu who is sitting here should get a copy of that book, read it, propagate it, talk about it, and make sure that our coming generation will be very much proud of Hindu. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, just one quick announcement before we go any further. Food will be closing at 2 o'clock. If you haven't had lunch yet, please have lunch. This is the last call for lunch. Also, out of courtesy, if I could request everyone to please put their cell phones on vibrator mode. We'd like to request the cell phones be shut off or put on vibrate so they don't go off in the middle of any of the speeches. Once again, food will be served till 2 o'clock. This is last call. Please help yourself if you've not had lunch yet.
I would like to invite MR Venkatesh ji. He's a chartered accountant by profession and who has published many books, one of it being titled Manmohan Singh, A Decade of Decay. I would like to call Dr. Subramanian Swamiji to please bless M.R. Venkatesh ji for his accomplishment. Kadarji, please come to the stage. Kadarji.
Venkatesh's book is a description of how the Indian economy declined during the last 1 decade, and it was a tragic situation because Manmohan Singh is an accomplished economist. He has a PhD. He's been a professor for many years before he came into government, and although he got more than his necessary share of credit for the economic reform that he brought, if I may say so myself, the blueprints for the economic reform were prepared by me, and at that time Manmohan Singh was working for me as the economic advisor to the government in which I was a minister, and subsequently implemented by the direction and political sagacity of Narasimha Rao, but unfortunately the media gave the entire credit to him. But nevertheless, Manmohan Singh, if he had used the power of the Prime Minister, he could have continued with the reforms of these last 10 years, and India could have become a developed country or even overtaken China at least by now. But instead of that, he became subjugated and he did not do anything unless he got an order from the top. So much he was committed that once I remember asking him whether he knew what 2G was in telecom, and he said Sonia ji and Rahul ji. And that describes him, that the whole world was what these two wanted. And those today have let him down. Just when he was abroad, they humiliated him and made him look silly. And we are very sorry that a country of 1 billion people has had to see this spectacle. But not to worry, we have scholars like Venkatesh writing about it and documenting it, and very soon we will have a Virat Hindu as Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, and we will change this up. Thank you.
माननीय कटारिया जी, मेरे गुरु श्री डॉक्टर सुब्रमण्यन स्वामी, अमेरिका में प्रवासी
भारतीय बंधुओं, मातृशक्ति, सभी को मेरा प्रणाम। कभी कभी हमसे पूछा जाता है कि आप साउथ इंडियन हो, तो मैं बोलता हूँ आई एम इंडियन फ्रॉम साउथ। शायद अगर हम इंडिया फर्स्ट कर दें तो हिंदू यूनिटी ऑटोमेटिकली हो जाती है। Because without India there is no Hindu, and without Hinduism there is no India. मैं बहुत ही लकी हूँ कि डॉक्टर सुब्रमण्यम स्वामी जैसे महान के साथ मुझे काम करने का मौका मिला है। कभी कभी महाभारत पढ़ते जाता हूँ तो लगता है कि भगीरथ प्रयत्न का एक चैप्टर आता है, जिसको माता गंगा को स्वर्ग से कैसे भूमि में उतारा जाता है। लेकिन अगर 2G में डॉक्टर स्वामी का प्रयत्न हम देखें तो भगीरथ प्रयत्न कुछ भी नहीं है। Because we do not even understand when we are in India the type of efforts Dr. Swamy has put in terms of putting 2G on the national law radar. ऐसा कभी नहीं हुआ है कि हम किसी को पकड़े कानून के द्वारा, और इसका श्रेय डॉक्टर स्वामी को जाता है। एक ही बात मैं कहना चाहता हूँ कि मेरा पिछला पुस्तक जब रिलीज हुआ था फरवरी 2011, 6 बजे को उसका विमोचन हुआ था, 3 बजे राजा जी का अरेस्ट हुआ था। इंडियन स्टैंडर्ड टाइम 3 PM राजा was arrested and Dr. Swamy releases my book at 6 PM. डॉक्टर स्वामी को याद नहीं होगा शायद, लेकिन आपने एक बात बताई थी मुझे कि किताब में आपने अच्छी लिखी है, लेकिन इसमें ज्यादा मायूसी है। इतना मायूसी क्यों? तो इस बुक में मैंने मायूसी ज्यादातर कम कर ली है, जितना हो सके उनकी प्रेरणा से। और मुझे लगता है कि आने वाले दिनों में अगर इस इकोनॉमी को ठीक करना पड़ेगा, ना बल्कि मोदी जी प्रधानमंत्री होंगे, स्वामी जी वित्त मंत्री होंगे। किसी एक महापुरुष ने कहा था कि नॉर्थ इंडिया का शक्ति और साउथ इंडिया का बुद्धि से इंडिया का विमोचन है। That sums up the Hindu Unity Day for me. Thank you all for giving me a very patient listening and this talk.
I would like to call to the stage Sri Rambhadra Dasa. He's the chief priest of Radha Govinda Deva Mandir in Brooklyn, New York.
Hare Krishna. I'd like to thank especially Pavitra Chowdhury Prabhu and all of the wonderful members present here at this assembly on the special occasion of Hindu unity. Very, very important. There's so much diversity in this world, and when we have unity and diversity, we can have perfection. Of course, we have to understand the true equality of all living entities, that the great transcendentalist sees with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and even a dog eater or outcast. In the sense that God, within the heart, the Paramatma, Bhagavan, Sri Krishna, the Super Soul, within the heart of every living entity, everyone, all the beautiful people here, in this room, in this beautiful assembly hall, all of the people on the highway, the millions and trillions and billions of jivatmas that are wandering throughout the Mahatattva, in this universe and in multitudes of universes emanating from Lord Mahavishnu, every living entity that is part and parcel of the Supreme Brahman, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has this unity in common, and that is Sanatana Dharma. The eternal occupation of every living entity very familiar with. Water. Water has qualities that are inseparable. Wetness and liquidity. Fire has qualities that are inseparable. Heat and light. And the jiva, or the spirit, who's sitting in everybody's heart here, alongside the Supreme Spirit, God Himself, has qualities that are inseparable from the jiva himself. Eternity, knowledge, bliss, and love. So when we understand truly, as the great saints and golden avatar, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stated, I am not a Brahmana, I am not a Kshatriya, I am not a Vaishya or a Sudra, I am not a Brahmachari, I am not a Grihastha, I am not a sannyasi, I am simply the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the servants of Lord Sri Krishna, the master of the gopis. So, we have to have great qualities in this world to succeed. We have to have tolerance, we have to have compassion, we have to have forgiveness for all living entities in this world. And we have to try to spread the vision. This is the Dharma, especially of those from the great land of Bharat, Russia, India. It is especially the Dharma of those persons, and especially those who have succeeded, and many of you here who are sitting here, you're very, very successful. You're very, very successful. So the occupation of the Dharma we have as a responsibility is to share this great Bhagavad Dharma of the great land of Bharat with everyone in the world. Go out and as many persons as you can assist in understanding this basic principle, that we are servants of the servants, that we are friends, we are brothers and sisters with all other living entities. Of course, the most simple way that we do it, especially at the Radha Govinda Mandir, in many of our mandirs in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, that in the Agni Purana, it is stated, Harinama, Harinama, Harinama Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nastyeva, 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 Gatiranyata. That in this particular difficult age, Kali, the age of quarrel and hypocrisy, it's a very difficult time. This is not the Satya Yuga. This is not the Treta Yuga. This is not the Dwarpa Yuga. This is Kali. Very difficult. Iron age of quarrel and hypocrisy. We see it every time we open up the internet. living that. It is there every day. Some very, very bad things are taking place, but in this age, there's one saving grace. That as difficult as everything it is very simple and absolutely free to chant the sacred names of God, of Lord Vishnu, of Lord Krishna, of the different avatars of God, of Lord Jesus, of Allah. We can chant God's name. This is one thing everyone can identify with, and everyone can have a very, very similar understanding and relationship with. And if we respect everyone's opportunity to do this together, we will experience greater unity. We will experience greater realization and understanding. And of course, we can ultimately achieve the ultimate goal of life, which is way beyond just getting a great education, becoming expert in a certain field, helping a limited amount of people. The greatest goal, the prime swartha gati, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Yajna by Vishnu, pleasing Lord Vishnu, pleasing Lord Krishna, pleasing Srimati Radharani, and ultimately at the end, going beyond a wonderful association and a wonderful social event, going, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stated, going to the Supreme Abode, to the Vishnu Loka, to the Krishna Loka of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to reside in eternity, knowledge, bliss, and love forever. So again, thank you very, very much for giving me this brief opportunity. And we're all very, very wonderful devotees of the land of Bard and its great, great Dharma. So please do your service the best as possible in this life and help as many people in this world as possible. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Please welcome Dr. Amit Nehru. He's one of the Kashmiri Hindu activists. He's a dentist by profession residing in Los Angeles, California.
Thank you very much for your kind introduction. Friends, at the very outset, I would like to congratulate the team, the volunteer team led by Mr. Kataria and Mr. Swamy. I do not know any one of you, so pardon me if I'm missing some names. The congratulations are due for reminding us that we Hindus and advising us very strongly to unify with the simple goal, with the simple intent of taking back our motherland, India, our civilization of thousands of years, our religion, which unfortunately, as we all know, and we can talk for days together on that, that has fallen in the wrong hands. The people who have been sacrificing our civilization, our culture, our religion, at the cost of national interest for their personal vote banks and for their personal gains. I really feel honored to be amongst all of you distinguished guests and distinguished speakers. When I was asked by Mr. Kataria to speak on Kashmir, I said, yes, I'm too willing to do that. Though I'm not an academician, I'm a dentist in private practice in Los Angeles. I just flew yesterday and came here. The major qualification I have today is that I'm born and brought up, raised and educated, and I have actually worked in all the 3 provinces of the state of Jammu and Kashmir, including Ladakh, Jammu and Kashmir province. Friends, my heart has been bleeding for a long time, looking plight of Kashmiri Hindus. No doubt I have come to the United States 28 years back. So I in person have not felt the pain which my brethren had to face in that state when they became refugees in their own countries. If you just for a second close your eyes and see yourself in canvas tents with 40 degrees temperature outside, and normally for we Kashmiris we are used to only cold snow, and many of our Kashmiri Hindus, and as Venkatesh said rightly, Hindu Kashmiris, as Robert said, had to live in tents. Many have died. Many people died of sunstrokes. Then I'll give you a few items. When you go home, please think about it, because I think only now 6.5 minutes for a problem that has been there for the last 65 years. It became a priority. Kashmiri Hindus were thrown out of Kashmir on priority basis. Within few months, when the actual terrorism was started by jihadis trained in Pakistan and guided by ISI Pakistan, the first priority was to clean up Kashmir of the nationalist forces. And who were the nationalist forces living in Kashmir that time? There were 4% of us, that's minority Hindus and patriotic Kashmiri Sikh Kashmiris. Now that it shocked us so much that it has happened to one of the oldest communities of the world. You can find our mention. We have been mentioned in Rajtarani, one of the oldest written historic document we have, making us basically the aboriginals of that place. The most unreported, unfortunately, and here, otherwise there is no reason for such a genocide of peaceful Hindus in minority, not more than 500,000 of them. The most underreported or not reported at all. And this has happened only 23 years back. That's in our recent memories. Now, the question is, why did it become a priority for ISI and jihadis to get rid of nationalists of Kashmir, that's Hindus? Well, I have a second question also. Why it has become priority? Why it has become a priority for successive Indian governments not to reverse their ethnic cleansing for last 23 years? The answer to both these questions is the same, because victims here are Hindus. We are thrown out of Kashmir because we are Hindus. We have not been rehabilitated so far in the last 23 years. Our ethnic cleansing has not been reversed. And the reason is the same, because we happen to be Hindus, which happen to be in minority in the only one Muslim majority state in Indian Union. Friends, once if you read in history, Kashmir was a fountainhead of not only Indian civilization, but most of our scriptures, Hindu scriptures, and Hindu textbooks, and Hindu scholars Shankaracharya ji came to visit Kashmir more than 4,000 years back, only for a few months. And many scholars from different parts of the world would go there. They would get so much fascinated that Shankaracharya ji, who had actually planned to go there only for a few months, ended up staying for years. Kashmir is home to many of our gods and goddesses, and it also used to be great center for Buddhism also. But with the conversions, with the killings, we were reduced to, at one time, to 11 families. And Muslim rulers took over, and had it not been for the last time, had it not been for the great Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj, you would not see me at least. Our community would have been wiped off. Now, half a minute. Now, Hindu unity is a must, because I'll make it short. Because as we all know, when we were ruled by British for 200 plus years, we were still in majority. We talk about Islamic rule of 1,000 years. Don't forget that all those 1,000 plus years were still in majority. My community of Kashmiri Hindus have become refugees in their own country. Mind you, we are still in majority. There are so many problems we are facing, we are still in majority. So unless and until we unite, friends, there is one more thing. Imagine if this could happen to us in Kashmir when we had a free, democratic rule in India for the last 65 years. I forgot secular rule also, I believe we are in. Imagine what will happen to us. Please think about it. When by next year, American forces, NATO forces exit from Afghanistan, then thousands and thousands of these jihadis are going to be jobless. And all they will do is they will cross Kashmir, come into different parts of India, maybe including South. So are we equipped to do something about it? But by next year, hopefully things must have changed, God willing, and we will be equipped to deal with each and everything. Thank you.
Please welcome to the stage Dr. Narendra Kukar, who is a leading medical doctor in the New York region. He served as the chairman of Association of Indians in America.
Thanks. Honorable Subramanian Swamy, respected organizers and distinguished guests, it is an honor and a privilege for me to address you. Today's Hindus are a watershed of history, and our actions today will decide whether Hindus in India will get their equal rights as a citizen or slide into some new dark age, which may be worse than 1,000 years of Islamic barbaric rule of the past. It is important to understand is not haphazard. It is orchestrated at the highest levels of government affairs countries through monetary influence and religious beliefs of few people in power in India. This sinister collaboration, the religion won't be able to defend itself. Don't be in a swoon. Don't be dreaming. If you we don't understand this, we won't exist. Mahatma Gandhi said, politics without principles is a social sin. Most of the politicians in India are the greatest sinners, figuratively and in reality. India can boast to be in the top tier of most corrupt nation of the world. Do not expect justice from it without demanding and standing for your rights. We cannot keep blaming others for our plight. In the end, the fault is ours. The Hindus for not standing up to their rights. Hindus have to assert themselves or be a bystander of its own demise. That is what happened to Kashmiri Hindus. You just heard that. To Pakistani and Bangladeshi Hindus. Their women raped in presence of their husbands and children, property confiscated, coerced conversion to Islam, temples burnt and destroyed. If you have trouble believing me, what I said, go to Google Human Rights Commission reports, go to United States Congressional reports, go to Hindu American Foundation reports, The Guardian, the British newspaper, and a treatise for Bangladesh, a portrait of covert genocide. Please, don't look for it in the Indian government reports or the Indian news media. It is a rare Indian newspaper in the United States which has the courage to print some truth about the plight of Hindus in Pakistan and Bangladesh. Our gripe is not with Muslims. Our preoccupation with them is our problem. One cannot reason with an unreasonable man. Dialogues with Muslims is a waste of time. In 1930, Sir Winston Churchill, former British Prime Minister, said, while the Hindu corroborates his argument, the Muslim sharpens his sword. After close to 100 years, it is true even today. Who is to blame for our plight? Who is responsible for this? Are we responsible? The students or my teacher? Or the ones who are responsible for bringing me up and teaching me what is mine and what belongs to me and what I must have. And that is my right. That is what Lokman Tilak said. स्वराज्य मेरा जन्म सिद्ध अधिकार है, वो मैं लेके रहूंगा. The Hindus have to say, equal rights for Hindu is our birthright, and I shall have it. I blame the trustees of Hindu temples and the Hindu religious leaders for their inaction and negligence in educating its followers and helping them in their endeavors to achieve what is rightfully is theirs. It should be their solemn duty to help Hindus as they draw their funds and power to the Hindu worshippers. They, as keepers and leaders of Hindu faith, should do everything within their power to ensure that Hindus should have equal rights in India. We, as Hindus, should demand of their help and leadership, and they must be willing to give and lead. We as Hindus should organize satyagraha at all levels of government. Mahatma Gandhi, through satyagraha, could get the British to quit India. We should be able to force the government of India to grant equal rights to Hindus in India. It is no time to be on the defensive. It is time to be on the offensive. I would say we demand equal rights for Hindus in admissions to institutes of higher learning and job. We demand Hindu temple funds should be under control of donors like other religious institutions, not government-appointed trustees. We should demand government health should be based on merit and need, not on religion or caste. We demand from the government of India to catch the Muslim culprits who set fire to Hindu pilgrimage at Godara. Those who killed Hindus in Muzaffarnagar recently. The Muslim minister who ordered the police officers not to intervene and let Hindus be massacred by the Muslim mob. We should demand legal action against police officers who failed to perform their duty in Muzaffarnagar massacre of Hindus. We demand to bring to justice state officials in South India who are using Hindu temple funds to convert Hindus to Christianity. We need to demand. We need to ask for it. It is no time to be on the defensive. It is time to be on the offensive. Peaceful satyagraha. It should be relentless, persistent, and nationwide. A society gets what it concentrates on. When a Hindu goes to a temple, it's a private and mostly silent connection between the devotee and its creator. Somebody in the temple has to teach Hindus about Hinduism. You don't learn by just visiting and sitting in the school building without a teacher to teach you. Our mandas must teach on a regular basis about Hinduism, and our spiritual leaders must lead and help us in acquiring equal rights for Hindus. Initially in India, and then in other parts of the world. Thank you for your attention.
I would like to ask Jitendra Olkar. He is part of the Hindu Awakening Forum and has published a wonderful calendar.
Thank you. Dear friends, my name is Jitendra Olkar. I am a volunteer for Forum for Hindu Awakening. I would like to introduce to you this Hindu Chetana calendar. This FHA is a non-profit organization devoted to awakening the society to the unique concepts of Hindu Dharma and to facilitate the spiritual progress of humanity. The main aim of FHA is to educate the society for living and preserving Hindu Dharma. With this aim in mind, FHA is bringing you the unique Dharma education calendar, Hindu Chetana, for the year 2015, for spreading the radiance and righteousness in society. The calendar's salient features are the Tithis and Muhurtas in this calendar are based according to the Eastern Standard Time. Because normally what happens, the dates in India and US are different. So people are getting confused as to what time they should follow what. We can go as per the US dates, but these are according to what it should be as per the Panchang. The calendar has the Sattvic images of deities drawn by the seekers on every page. It also has useful articles spreading knowledge about spiritual science underlying the Hindu practices. For example, why we should not sleep with our feet facing the south, why perform arti, etc. The reverse page has information about selfless Hindu leaders and saints of Hinduism working to preserve Hinduism. Some of the leaders featured at the back of his Panchang is Dr. Subramanian Swamy, Sri Narayan Kataria ji, Harish Sahani ji, and others. So friends, we all know that all our leaders are doing all their whatever there is possible from them, and they are trying to guide the youth to come forward and take action into preserving Dharma, trying to come forward and come for the protest, as we see a lot of times that Kataria ji and the group and this particular group is standing in front of the UN, and they are trying to protest at various instances. But we see in the photograph there are only a few number of people there. So maybe there are 20 people, 25 people. And even Kataria ji in his image, he says, if you are very far off, it's okay, you can protest from far, but we are there. So from the youth point of view, we should try to spend more time for this protest, etc. So being a Hindu, it is our duty to promote and preserve our Dharma in North America. So we urge you to take a look at the calendar and also our publications which are put up at the exhibition here. The salient feature of our publications are that whatever the Achar Dharma are there or whatever questions are there about Hindu Dharma, they have been dealt even topic-wise in each book. So if you don't have to read the entire Hindu Dharma text to understand a particular topic, because each one sadhana may be a different level, you may have a different question in the mind, and you don't want to read the entire book and try to understand what is the answer to your question. So such topics individually they are dealt in our books. So please have a look at them. Thank you so much.
I would like to invite Mr. Tathagatra Roy to the stage. Mr. Roy is the former BJP of West Bengal. And we would like to thank him for coming today.
Mr. Subramanian Swamy, sir, ladies and gentlemen present here, it is a great pleasure to be able to address such an august gathering. I just happened to be here in New York. I had come to this country to visit my daughters who are in New York and Boston, and I had gone to visit a friend of mine in Houston. It was a pleasure to see the Durga party over there, in which they were all cursing me that I did not come at Durga Puja time. And I believe Durga Puja in Boston is in Houston is celebrated in great pomp. Since I have just come from India, I left India's shores on the 5th of September, and memories of India are still fresh. So I would like to apprise you of a few aspects in Indian life today that have struck me and that have a bearing on the state of Hindus in India. Particularly in my state of West Bengal, which is a Bangladesh rim state, like West Bengal, a bit of Bihar, most of Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram, these are Bangladesh rim states. We are faced with a terrible situation in which the complexion of the population is changing, not imperceptibly, I would say, perceptibly. Certain areas are becoming, are ceasing to be Hindu majority. When we had received our independence in 1947 and the country was partitioned, Shama Prasad Mukherjee insisted that with the partitioning of India, even Bengal must be partitioned so that Bengali Hindus can have a place where they can hold their heads high. And so we have West Bengal. Now in West Bengal, we are having one district after another denuded of the Hindu majority, with the result that Hindus are getting beleaguered and at places they are being persecuted. There are a few instances, you might or might not know those places. There is a place called Degonga in North 24 Parganas district. There is a place near Canning in South 24 Parganas district where recently there have been anti-Hindu, I would say pogroms, not riots, in which the state government has totally taken the side of the anti-Hindus, with the result that the Hindus are beginning to flee those areas, and the complexion, which is already denuded of Hindus, it is getting worse and worse. There are certain other aspects. If you travel all over West Bengal, as I do in the course of my political work, I find that in absolutely down and out places where people are pauperized, particularly in Muslim majority belts, we find huge mosques coming up, huge mosques. Now I am a civil engineer by profession, and I know by looking at the building I can make out how much the building costs. Now, some of these buildings I found they cost in terms of 20 crores, 30 crores, that is 300 million, 400 million rupees. Now, where is this money coming from in these down and out places? It is obviously coming from the Gulf, it is coming from Saudi Arabia. It is not coming through a straight channel. And where is this money going? To whose hands it is going? For one thing, it is sure that this is it is going to for religious purposes as well as for persecution of Hindus in some oblique way, and it is also going to the hands of anti-Hindu forces. I find Swami Ramdev ji has come, so it's not proper that I will continue.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bharat Mata Ki! Bharat Mata Ki! Vande! 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 Bharat Mata Ki! भारत माता की। थोड़ा बड़ा आवाज करो भाई, बाबा जी आ गए हैं। धीरे आवाज नहीं चाहिए किसी का भी। भारत माता की, भारत माता की, भारत माता की, भारत माता की। बाबा जी वेलकम।
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to request everyone to please kindly find your seats.
Please gather around and please take your seats.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we need everyone to please take their seats. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I know you are very excited to see our distinguished guests here tonight, but we need everyone seated at this time. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, at the front trying to take pictures. We do need to continue with our festivities for today, and we need everyone seated immediately. Thank you.
Mr. Lalit Shuri is a wonderful.
Ladies and gentlemen, we want to continue with the rest of the program. I'm going to request everyone in the front to please kindly find your seats. We can't continue until everybody is seated. I promise you, you'll have enough time to take photos later on. But right now, we need everybody seated so we can continue with the rest of the event. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, please kindly find your respective seats. We'd like to move forward with the afternoon. I'd like to ask everyone to please find their seats for a couple of minutes. Thank you.
भाइयों बहनों, ये बहुत ही सुंदर गीत है। प्लीज अटेंशन कीजिए। और बाबा रामदेव जी यहाँ आए हैं तो थोड़ी सी ऊर्जा भी मिल रही है।
Secretariat, and friends, it's a great pleasure for me that the modern Vishwamitra, Baba Ramdev, is here with us. He kindly consented on the way to be here for a short while. My job is to say that when modern history of India is written, the major change that is going to come, everybody will acknowledge in history books that the change was initiated by Baba Ramdev in India. It was his rally in February last year and the year before in the Ramlila grounds, which changed the whole atmosphere in India, made everybody feel confident that change is possible. And that's why the disgraceful incidents of Ramlila grounds, where police turned up at midnight and beat up. In fact, one died because of the injuries in the Ramlila grounds. But today, wherever our Ramdev goes, we all salute him. The people look up to him. They believe him. And as a consequence, we in politics are the beneficiary of this big change that is coming. Baba Ramdev, I call him Vishwamitra because Vishwamitra cleared the way by finishing off Taraka. He himself did not do it, but he brought in Ramchandraji as a youngster and Lakshman. And I will not, I think all of you are thinking that I mean by Targa somebody else, but that doesn't matter. But all these Asuric forces today have targeted our sadhus and sannyasis. Why? Whether it is the Shankaracharya of Kanchi, whether it is Asaram Babu, whether, of course, continuing against Baba Ramdev in the harassment that the state machinery is doing. But ultimately, they are men of God, and therefore it is the Asuric forces which will be defeated, and a new renaissance will come to India. So I request Baba Ramdev to give his Ashirwad to us so that a new India can be built starting next year. Thank you.
हिंदुस्तान में जैसा कि सुब्रमण्यम स्वामी जी ने कहा, एक परिवर्तन का, बदलाव का, क्रांति का दौर चल रहा है और उसमें एक वो खानदान जिसने हिंदुस्तान को अपनी जागीर समझ रखा है। जब मैंने कहा कि भैया हिंदुस्तान के लोगों, तुमने जिनको खानदानी नेता समझा था वो तो खानदानी लुटे। 1000 सालों में मुगलों और अंग्रेजों ने हिंदुस्तान को जितना नहीं लूटा, उतना इस लुटेरे खानदान ने 67 सालों में लूट लिया। 100 लाख करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा ब्लैक मनी देश की सीमाओं से बाहर क्रॉस बॉर्डर ब्लैक मनी जमा हो गई। मुझे खुशी है ये कहते हुए कि काले धन की उस जंग में हिंदुस्तान में यदि कोई राजनेता के तौर पर उस लड़ाई को लड़ने में बड़ी भूमिका निभाई किसी ने, और आगे भी निभाएंगे सुब्रमण्यम स्वामी। अब 3 स्वामियों से ये खानदान बहुत खूब खाए बैठा। एक तो हमारे ये खानदानी स्वामी है, इनका सरनेम भी स्वामी है, और ये सरनेम के पीछे इनके पुरखों का तप है। ये गांधी खानदान, एक गांधी नहीं, गंधी लोग हैं। जवाहरलाल नेहरू, अब नेहरू में गांधी कहां से आ गए? ये माने नाम भी नकली और काम भी नकली। અહીંયા ઘણા બધા ગુજરાતી પણ છે ને, છે અત્યારે તો ગુજરાતની તૂટી બોલે છે। ગુજરાતમાં જે વૈશ્ય લોકો છે એ ગાંધી લખે છે। હવે આ નેહરુના સાથે ગાંધીનો શું સંબંધ? लेकिन देखो ये नकली सरनेम चलता नहीं है। नरेंद्र मोदी के पीछे कोई सरनेम नहीं लगा हुआ, न वो नाम से नहीं, वो
पूरी दुनिया में इज्जत पाया। चाय बेचने वाले एक छोटे से घर में नरेंद्र भाई मोदी पैदा होता है। उसका कोई गॉडफादर नहीं था पॉलिटिक्स में। जिंदगी भर अभाव और संघर्षों के बीच में वो व्यक्ति आगे बढ़ा। दूसरों से तो जो मुकाबला करना पड़ा, दूसरों ने जो राह में रोड़े अटकाए सो तो सही, अपनों ने भी बहुत रोड़े अटकाए। फिर हमने तो अल्टीमेटम दे दिया। मैंने कहा मोदी के बिना बीजेपी मंजूर नहीं। दुनिया में सब लोग अपनों का साथ देते, ब्राह्मण का साथ देता है, ठाकुर का साथ देता है, जिसको देखो कोई ना कोई जाति मजहब का साथ देता है। अरे वो भी फकीर और हम भी फकीर का साथ नहीं देगा तो किसका देगा? तो खानदानी स्वामी, एक वो स्वामी। और नरेंद्र मोदी क्या है, उसकी बीवी नहीं, बच्चे नहीं। मेरे से बोले बाबा आपने क्यों साथ दिया? मैंने कहा नरेंद्र मोदी कभी भी बेईमान नहीं हो सकता, वो तेरा नहीं हो सकता, वो देश नहीं तोड़ सकता, देश नहीं ले सकता, और वो कायर कमजोर और बुज़दिल नहीं हो सकता। अभी प्रधानमंत्री यहीं पर आए हुए आजकल, और हो क्या रहा है? फेसबुक और ट्विटर पर लहंगा ओढ़े फोटो चल रही है। क्यों? वो नवाज शरीफ बड़ा शरीफ बदमाश निकला। ये आजकल जैसे नाम होते हैं ना, वैसे काम होते नहीं है। मैंने कहा तो बोलता है देहाती औरत की तरह ओबामा से हमारी चुगली करता है। और मैंने देखा भैया, मुझे जो गुरु गोविंद सिंह जी ने सिखिज्म किया, सिर जाए तो जाए, मेरा सिख धर्म ना जाए, शीश कटवा लिए लेकिन सिर झुकाया नहीं, और इसने कभी बेचारे ने सिर उठाया नहीं। सरदार तो है लेकिन असरदार नहीं। मेरे में हिंदी समझ में आती है ये सवाल। इतना गौरवशाली महान राष्ट्र, लोग अपने अपने किसी खून खानदान पर गर्व करते। क्या हम रॉयल खानदान के, हम उस खानदान के हैं, हम उस खानदान के, हम उस हिंदुस्तान के, हम उस देश के हिंदू हैं जिसका इराक, ईरान, अफगानिस्तान, पाकिस्तान, यमन प्रांत से लेकर के और उधर म्यांमार, बांग्लादेश, त्रिविक्रम, तिब्बत से लेकर के जावा, सुमित्रा, इंडोनेशिया, कंबोडिया, ये इतना बड़ा विशाल साम्राज्य, विश्व विजेता भारत, उसके हम हिंदू। यह हमारा गौरव। अमेरिका की श्रम शक्ति को, उसके पुरुषार्थ को, उसकी ज्ञान शक्ति को, उसकी सैन्य शक्ति को हम सलाम करते हैं, क्योंकि 500 सालों में से देश ने विकास की बुलंदियों को छुआ। 500 साल का अमेरिका का संघर्ष उसको यहां खड़ा कर देता है। 2000 साल पहले का पूरा इस्लाम का, ईसाइयत का इतिहास, 1400 साल का पूरा इस्लाम का इतिहास। हम इस्लाम का, हम ईसाइयत का, हम अमेरिका किसी देश का अनादर नहीं करते। ये 500 से लेकर के 2000 सालों में सारी दुनिया से मिट जाती है। इससे ज्यादा 2, 2.5, 3 हजार पीछे तो कोई संस्कृति जाती ही नहीं है। अरे हम हिंदुओं की संस्कृति, हम भारतवासियों की संस्कृति, देव संस्कृति, ऋषि संस्कृति 1,96,8,53,114 वर्ष पुरानी है। इसके ऊपर हमें गौरव है। पूरी दुनिया को हेल्थ सिस्टम हमने दिया। अभी जो मॉडर्न मेडिकल साइंस है ये 200 साल पुरानी है। इसकी ठीक अच्छा कर रहे हैं हमारे भाई डॉक्टर अरविंद यहाँ बैठे, ये बड़े बहुत अच्छे सर्जन है। ये जिस किसी का दिल में गड़बड़ हो जाए तो चीर फाड़ के ठीक कर देते हैं। भीष्म अग्निहोत्री जी के यशस्वी बेटे 200 साल पुरानी है मॉडर्न मेडिकल साइंस। 200 करोड़ वर्षों पुराना हमारा ऋषियों का आयुर्वेद पूरे वर्ल्ड को हेल्थ सिस्टम हम हिंदुओं ने दिया। आप कहते हैं ना गर्व से होगा हम हिंदू हैं, कैसे गर्व? पूरी दुनिया को हेल्थ सिस्टम हिंदुओं ने दिया। पूरी दुनिया को एजुकेशन सिस्टम हिंदुओं ने दिया। ठीक है कि आज बहुत से हमने संघर्ष झेले हैं, उसमें बहुत सी बीच में गड़बड़ियां हुई हैं, उनको ठीक करेंगे हम और वापस उसको वही लेकर के जाएंगे। पूरी दुनिया को जुडिशरी सिस्टम हमने दिया। पूरी विश्व को संस्कृत और सभ्यता का बोध हमने दिया। मानवीय सृष्टि की उत्पत्ति भी उसी ऋषि भूमि से हुई, उस देव भूमि से हुई। और ऐसा गौरवशाली देश अमेरिका में आज जो मूल निवासी रहते हैं उनको क्या बोलते हैं? रेड इंडियन। क्यों? कोलंबस अमेरिका खोजने नहीं निकला था, इंडिया खोजने निकला था। माने 500 साल पहले से पूरी दुनिया इंडिया को खोज रही थी, क्योंकि भारत जैसा वैभव, भारत जैसा ज्ञान, भारत जैसी सैन्य शक्ति, भारत जैसा बल पराक्रम पूरी दुनिया में कहीं नहीं था। और वो भारत फिर से पूरे पराक्रम के साथ दुनिया में खड़ा होगा और आध्यात्मिक आर्थिक शक्ति है। इसका एक और चला। इस बात को दोहराना चाह रहा हूं, भारत में किसी चीज की कमी है? जल, जंगल, जमीन, भू संपदा, जड़ी बूटियां, वहां पर अलग अलग राष्ट्रीय संसाधन, बौद्धिक प्रतिभा, टैलेंट तो हमारे भारतीय जैसा पूरी दुनिया में कहीं है। यूथ पावर, पूरी दुनिया का सबसे जवान देश, सबसे महान प्रज्ञावान देश भारतवर्ष। लेकिन पॉलिटिकल लीडरशिप नहीं है। देश गत में जा रहा है और सारे देश की संपत्ति पर कुछ बेईमान लोग चौकड़ी मार करके बैठे हैं और वो जहरीले नाम जिसको जो भी देश की बात करे उसी को काटने को। वो सुबह से शाम तक सुब्रमण्यम स्वामी को गाली देते, रामदेव स्वामी को गाली देते। एक बेचारा दुखी होके आया, कांग्रेसी गंदे हैं, वो बेचारा उसको बाहर भेज दिया। वो चुप नहीं हो रहा था, उसको सहा नहीं जा, कुछ नहीं कह रहा था। कुछ बड़ा खतरनाक वायरस है ये कांग्रेसी वायरस, बड़ा खतरनाक। यहाँ ओवरसीज में जो कांग्रेस के हेड है ना, वो कहते हैं क्या करें, गलत जगह फंस गए। सच्ची बता, कहते इसमें तो हमको तो पता ही नहीं। अरे मैंने कहा भैया हम तो छोटे थे तब सुनते थे कांग्रेस नहीं अंग्रेजों की पार्टी, इसकी स्थापना की। आज भी हमारे गांव में बोलते हैं ये अंग्रेजों की पार्टी, और अभी भी ये मैडम की अंग्रेजियों की पार्टी कुछ नहीं है। एक से मेरे बोला बाबा कांग्रेस का फ्यूचर क्या? मैंने कहा मैडम की तबीयत नासाज है। अपन तो अच्छी भावना रखते हैं, किसी की दिक्कत ना। यहाँ 2 बड़े कैंसर के इंस्टीट्यूट है, एक एमडी एंडरसन और दूसरा इधर तो आती है। हम तो प्रार्थना करते हैं कि कि 2014 तक उनकी तबीयत ठीक रहे। अच्छा है, क्या होता है तो सोनिया गांधी जी की तबीयत नासाज और उसका जो मुन्ना वो बेचारा नादान है। एक नासाज और एक नादान। हर एक माँ चाहती है उसका बेटा बहुत बड़ा बने। उसने भी सोचा था मेरा बेटा हार्वर्ड जाएगा, हार्वर्ड ऑक्सफोर्ड ना मिल अरे भेजा कहा था वो गया कहीं और। जैसे कई बार माँ बाप बच्चे को स्कूल में भेजते हो पिक्चर हॉल में चला जाता है। पहले हार्वर्ड में भेजा, फिर कैम्ब्रिज में भेजा, फिर पता नहीं कौन से ब्रिज में फंस गया। माँ ने सोचा था मेरा बेटा विदेश से पढ़ के आएगा तो थोड़ा दिमाग वाला होके लौट के आएगा, तो वो माँ ने भेजा था विदेश में बुद्धिमान बढ़ाने के लिए। वहां से भूत और पप्पू होके लौट के आया। आजकल पूरी सोशल मीडिया में उसको भूत और पप्पू लिखते हैं और इसमें तो 10वीं पढ़े लिखे जितना भी दिमाग नहीं है। आज तक कभी भी आपने उस शहजादे को कभी करेक्शन पर बोलते हुए सुना कि इसका सॉल्यूशन क्या है? कभी ब्लैक मनी का सॉल्यूशन देते हुए सुना? कभी देश में पॉवर्टी कैसे खत्म होगी, देश में इन्फ्लेशन कैसे कम होगा, बेरोजगारी कैसे दूर होगी, इकोनॉमिक एंड सोशल इनजस्टिस कैसे खत्म होगा, देश की जो भी सुरक्षा की प्रॉब्लम है कैसे दूर होगी, कभी आपने नहीं सुना होगा। अभी पहली बार बोला और कोई उल्टा पड़ गया। बोले क्या नॉनसेंस है, क्या ऑर्डिनेंस लेकर के आके इसको कोई नहीं फेंक देना चाहिए। अब बताओ, इस बोंदों ने सरदार जी की पगड़ी उछाल दी। अब सरदार जी को तो नॉनसेंस कहा ना, और उसकी माँ और सरदार जी की बिना वहां की कैबिनेट है क्या? हिंदुस्तान का लोकतंत्र वो संसद से नहीं चलता, हिंदुस्तान का लोकतंत्र संविधान से नहीं चलता। संविधान तो ये मैडम जेब में रखती है। लोकतंत्र को तो पैरों तले कुचल दिया है और हिंदुस्तान की तो इज्जत करती ही नहीं। हम चाहते हैं कि हिंदुस्तान में सबको बराबर का सम्मान मिले, लेकिन ये मैडम चाहती है कि मैं तो इस रोम के देश को रोम का देश बनाऊंगी। ये तो नहीं चलेगा ना, सबको बराबर का सम्मान देना चाहिए। अब यदि किसी को कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर बनना है तो पहले ईसाई बनना पड़ेगा, ये तो ठीक नहीं है ना। अरे जिस देश में रहते हो उस देश का सम्मान करना भी सीखो। साधु से तो घृणा करते हैं, ये बड़ी खतरनाक। तो मैं कह रहा था हिंदुस्तान की राजनीति सुरक्षित है क्योंकि मैंने कहा रास्ता साफ है, कोई है ही नहीं रास्ते में। अभी बहुत तरह के जो राजनीतिक पंडित है ना, ये बहुत तरह के अंदाजे लगाते रहते हैं। मैंने कहा तुम दरअसल क्या है, राजनीति में प्रो पावर होता है मीडिया ज्यादा, और वो हमेशा ताकतवर लोगों के कीर्तन मंडली में रूपांतरित हो जाता है। सबके लिए नहीं बात कर रहा चाहता था, लेकिन हिंदुस्तान की राजनीति की मैं यद्यपि कोई शनि केतु राहु नहीं मानता, मैं किसी भी तरह की और तमाम अंधविश्वासों में भरोसा नहीं करता हूं, लेकिन ये राजनीतिक भविष्यवाणी हिंदुस्तान की ये है कि मोदी जी और उनके समर्थक जो दल हैं वो 300 सीट लेकर के आए। और कांग्रेस सोचते कि 5 सीटों पर सिमट जाएगी। और उस समय चूंकि सोनिया गांधी की तो खुद कोई तबीयत ठीक नहीं है, इसलिए खुद को ही नहीं संभाल पाएगी, और ये जो युवराज है इनका शहजादा, वो तो कोई दूसरी दुनिया में रहता है। अब हिंदुस्तान में 1 लाख लोग उत्तराखंड में फंस गए, 10,000 लोग वहां मर गए, और ये अपना बर्थडे का केक विदेशी अपनी गर्लफ्रेंड के साथ काट रहा है। दिमाग का तोपा भी नहीं। तो फिर ये कांग्रेस टूटेगी। जो इसमें ताकतवर लोग हैं वो अलग या तो पार्टी बना लेंगे या किसी पार्टी में सम्मिलित हो जाएंगे, और जो सपना महात्मा गांधी ने देखा था कि कांग्रेस खत्म हो जानी चाहिए, वो सपना भी 2014 में पूरा हो जाएगा। 2013 में सारे राक्षसों की, रावणों की, कंसों की, ताड़काओं की, पूतनाओं की तेल हो रही। 2014 से नया भारत बनना। मैं कह रहा 3 स्वामियों से इनको बड़ा डर लगता है। एक तो नरेंद्र भाई, एक ये स्वामी, और एक ये स्वामी। फिर बोले तीनों कैसे मिल गए? हमको कुछ नहीं चाहिए, इसको भी कुछ नहीं चाहिए। मुझे पता लगा कि जो है इधर आप लोग कोई फंक्शन कर रहे हैं। सुब्रमण्यन स्वामी जी का मेरे पास फोन गया कि स्वामी जी इधर प्रोग्राम हो रहा है, आपको 15 मिनट के लिए तो आना ही पड़ेगा। तो मैंने कहा उधर ऐसे हमारे प्रोग्राम रखने वाले भी इतने होशियार हैं कि बाबा 1 दिन के लिए आया 100 दिन का काम ले लो। इसलिए हमको 2-3 घंटा सोने को देते हैं। मैंने कहा कोई बात नहीं, फिर हम खाना बंद कर देते हैं। तो फल फ्रूट खाओ थोड़ा, तो थोड़ा खाने से भी और कम सोने से आप बहुत खुश रहते हैं। आप लोग तो यहाँ बैठे भी खाने पीने के साथ ही, और यहाँ बिना खाए एकदम फिट परफेक्ट रहते हैं। आप लोगों ने भारत का नाम बढ़ाया है। 125 करोड़ हिंदुस्तानी और करीब 3 करोड़ ऑफिशियली एनआरआईज हैं। कोई कहता है 4-5 करोड़ है, जितने भी हैं। 125 करोड़ हिंदुस्तानियों की जितनी ताकत है उससे उतनी ही बराबर की, और उससे कहीं ज्यादा ताकत हमारे 3 से 5 करोड़ एनआरआईओ की है। आपको अभिनंदन है। पूरी दुनिया में आपने उठाया, प्रतिष्ठा बढ़ाई, और उसमें भी जो प्रवासी एनआरआई भारतीय हैं, उनमें जो यूएसए की एनआरआई है, साहब आपकी संख्या तो 25 लाख है। 25 लाख तो हमारे एक छोटे से शहर में रहते हैं, और एक दिन में हम पैदा कर देते हैं। लेकिन आप लोगों की संख्या छोटी होते हुए भी, पहले मैंने सुना यहाँ 20 लोग पर कैपिटा इनकम में नंबर 1 थे, आज हमारे एनआरआईज नंबर 1 है। तो आप तो नंबर 1 है ही, अब भारत को भी नंबर 1 देश बनाना है, और उसमें भी आपको बड़ी भूमिका निभानी है। आपको अभिनंदन। हमको फकीर, हमने तो अब संकल्प ले लिया, जब तक लोकसभा चुनाव नहीं होगा, करीब 9 महीने, मैंने कहा 9 महीने तक पतंजलि योगपीठ में बाबा रामदेव नहीं जाएगा, पूरे देश में घूमेगा, और घूम घूम के आएगा। हर रोज 1 लाख लोगों की सभा करता है, 1 लाख लोगों की। अभी मध्य प्रदेश में था, और वहां पर भी उसके शहर में चला गया। रात को 11 बजे 25,000 से ज्यादा लोग सड़कों पर, गलियों में, जहां देखो वहीं बैठे हुए। उससे पूछा कि ये क्या हो गया, तेरे घर में आके मान में मार रहा है बाबा? तो कुछ नहीं उत्तर बना, संस्कार कुछ है नहीं, तो उल्टे सीधी गालियां देने के सिवाय इनके पास कुछ है नहीं। और ये हम लोगों को, जो बाबा रामदेव हो, चाहे नरेंद्र मोदी हो या सुब्रमण्यन स्वामी हो, इनको जितनी गालियां देते हैं उतना ही ही उनके पापों का खाता और बढ़ता जाता है। भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने कहा था शिशुपाल कि मैं 99 गलतियां माफ कर दूंगा, जब 100वीं गलती हुई तो शीश काट दिया सुदर्शन से। तो इनका पूरा हिंदुस्तान अपने आप ही शीश काटने वाला है। बहुत हो चुका है भाई बहनों। अब हिंदुस्तान उत्तिष्ठता जागृता प्राप्य बोधता 1863 में 150 वर्ष पहले एक महामानव का जन्म हुआ जो भारतीय संस्कृति का शिखर पुरुष, वो युग पुरुष था, वो महानायक, वो राष्ट्र का नायक, वो युग दृष्टा। 150 साल पहले जो पैदा हुआ था उसने कहा था, अमर स्वामी जी बांग्ला में पुस्तक है रामकृष्ण मिशन के ओर से प्रकाशित, छोटी सी पुस्तक है, उसमें लिखा कि हिंदुस्तान का नेतृत्व कोई राजघराने के राजा रानियां नहीं करेंगे। हिंदुस्तान का नेतृत्व तब के मार्ग पर चलने वाला कोई फकीर ही हिंदुस्तान का वजीर होगा। सामने कायम के भविष्यवाणी और सच घटित होने वाली और हिंदुस्तान बदलने वाला है। इस अमेरिका की धरती पर 1893 में 120 वर्ष पहले वो महानायक आया और उसने कहा उत्तिष्ठता जागृता, उठो जागो, जब तक ध्येय लेकिन हमको कीमत पर अपने देश को बर्बाद नहीं होने देंगे, ये संकल्प अपने है। और ये भगवान के विधान से काम हो रहा है, किसी की मर्जी से नहीं हो रहा है। हम तो सब निमित्त मात्र हैं, निमित्त मात्र भाव सब साझी। और मनुष्य का जन्म ही इसके लिए है कि हम परित्राणाय साधुना विनाशाय च दुष्कृता यदा यदा हि धर्म से भवति भारत। धरती सारी साधु, वेद में भी कहा, वेदवाणियों इंद्रमद्धं मामस्तेन ईशत प्रवंत विश्वमार्य। और गुरुवाणी में भी क्या, धरती सारी साधु की तस्कर बैठे आन। ये धरती तो देवत्व की प्रतिष्ठापना के लिए। स्वामी विवेकानंद कहते हैं ये सारा ब्रह्मांड उस ब्रह्म का मूर्त रूप है। ये सारा ब्रह्मांड का मूर्त रूप है और हर नर में ही नारायण का वास है। इस धरती पर हमें भगवान का साम्राज्य कायम करना है। अभी शैतान का साम्राज्य चल रहा है। भाई बहनों, इस बड़े लक्ष्य ध्येय के लिए आप सब में भी बहुत जोश है, तमन्ना है। आप लोगों ने अपने जीवन में तो खूब यश, प्रतिष्ठा, धन, दौलत, बहुत कुछ अर्जित किया है, लेकिन आपके दिलों में एक चीज रहती है, एक पीड़ा रहती है। माना कि आज इस मुल्क में आकर के हमने बहुत तरक्की की है, लेकिन हमारी मातृभूमि, हमारा भारतवर्ष, बहुत सी बच्चे यहां भी पैदा हो गए। आप कि चाहे 100 पीढ़ियां यहां पैदा हो जाए, लेकिन आपको कहा जाएगा प्रवासी भारतीय, नॉन रेजिडेंट इंडियन आपको बोला जाएगा। जब इंडिया कहीं पर भी पीछे होता है तो अपने को दर्द होता है। अब इंडिया सबसे आगे होगा, इसे अपना आंखों से देखेंगे। ये आपके लिए भी गौरव होगा, हमारे लिए भी गौरव होगा। ये हमारे जीवन की सबसे बड़ी सत्य है। इसके लिए आप लोग काम कर रहे हैं। और आज मुझे पता लगा आप हिंदू क्या बात है। अब जहां हमारे सुब्रमण्यम स्वामी होते हैं वहां तो हिंदू डे तो अपने आप ही हो जाता है। और आप सब यहाँ पर आए हैं। मैं तो थोड़ी देर के लिए बीच में ऐसे ही आ टपका, क्योंकि मुझे पता लगा कि आप सब में बहुत जज्बात हैं। आप सबको मेरी बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं। और इस हिंदू और हिंदुस्तान को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए आपने हृदय में गौरव का भाव सबसे बड़ी चीज होती है, बस वो हमेशा रखना। देखो 17वीं शताब्दी तक ब्रिटेन, जो अंग्रेजी भाषा का जनक माना जाता है, वहां अंग्रेजी नहीं बोली जाती थी। ब्रिटेन में क्या बोली जाती थी? फ्रेंच। क्यों? क्योंकि वहां फ्रेंच से गाया। तो जिस ब्रिटेन के अंदर फ्रेंच बोली जाती थी, जिस इंग्लैंड में अंग्रेजी नहीं बोली जाती थी अंग्रेजों के देश में, वो अंग्रेजी आज पूरी दुनिया में बोली जाने लगी। जो अंग्रेज, जो खुद पराधीन था ब्रिटेन, वो 70 से ज्यादा देशों में अपना राजनीतिक साम्राज्य कायम कर लेता है। केवल शौर्य, स्वाभिमान, पहले तो मजबूरी थी, बाद में उनके अंदर झगड़े, हम पूरी दुनिया पर राज कर सकते हैं। अरे वो तो भूखे नंगे लोग थे, हमारे भीतर का रॉयल ब्लड है, रामकृष्ण का खान है। हम तो पूरी दुनिया में राज करने के लिए ही पैदा हुए हैं, ऐसा आपके भीतर हो रहा है। आप मेरी बात से सहमत है? तो चलो गाओ, उठो जवान देश की वसुंधरा पुकारती, उठो जवान देश की वसुंधरा पुकारती। बोलना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो मैं खून कहीं मिक्स होगा तो नहीं बोलेगा। उठो जवान देश की वसुंधरा पुकारती, उठो जवान देश की वसुंधरा पुकारती। देश है पुकारता पुकारती माँ भारती, देश है पुकारता पुकारती माँ भारती। रगों में तेरे बह रहा है खून राम श्याम का, रगों में तेरे बह रहा है खून राम श्याम का। जगत गुरु गोविंद और राजपूत शान का, जगत गुरु गोविंद और राजपूत शान का। तू चल पड़ा, तू चल पड़ेगी, चल पड़ा, तू चल पड़ेगी साथ तेरे भारती। देश है पुकारता पुकारती माँ भारती, देश है पुकारता पुकारती माँ भारती। तोड़ कर धरा को फोड़ आसमां की कालिमा, तोड़ कर धरा को फोड़ आसमां की कालिमा। जगा दे सुप्रभात, फैला दे अपनी लालिमा, जगा दे सुप्रभात, फैला दे अपनी लालिमा। तेरे शुभ्र कीर्ति विश्व संकटों को तारती। देश है पुकारता पुकारती माँ भारती, देश है पुकारता पुकारती माँ भारती। है शत्रु दंदना रहा जहाँ दिशा में देश की, है शत्रु दंदना रहा जहाँ दिशा में देश। बता बता रही हमें किरण किरण दिनेश की, बता बता रही हमें किरण किरण। ओ चक्रवर्ती विश्व जय मातृभूमि भारती, देश है पुकारता पुकारती माँ भारती, देश है पुकारता पुकारती माँ भारती। उठो जवान देश की वसुंधरा पुकारती, उठो जवान देश की वसुंधरा पुकारती। देश है पुकारता पुकारती माँ भारती, देश है पुकारता पुकारती माँ भारती। बोले भारत माता की जय। हाथ उठा के हनुमान जी वाली मुट्ठी बांध के बजरंग बली की जय, भारत माता की जय। वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम। आप सबको बहुत बहुत प्रणाम। और सुब्रमण्यम स्वामी जी को जो एक योद्धा की तरह हमेशा लड़ते रहते हैं पूरी ताकत के साथ, एक बार उनको भी मेरा हृदय से बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन, उनको बहुत बहुत आशीर्वाद, बहुत बहुत।
We're blessed to have Baba Ramdev here at our presence. Raja Lakshmi, disciple of Dr. Baba, would like to present him some flowers. 50th birthday of Swami Vivekananda.
Ladies and gentlemen, we still have our program continuing. We need everyone to please take your seats. The program is not over. We still have some great speakers that are going to be coming forward. I want to request everyone, if you can hear me outside, to come back in.
Rajesh, Ruti, please come to the stage. Rajesh.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I want to make this announcement. Please.
For Narendra Modi and President of American India Political Action Committee. So we would like to talk about the program on October 5th to celebrate 150th birthday of Swami Vivekananda.
Sisters and brothers, आज हम बड़े भाग्यवान हैं कि हमारे बीच में डॉक्टर सुब्रमण्यम स्वामी और बाबा रामदेव जी लोग the two pillars of Hindu society. We are really lucky to have both at on this Hindu Sangathan Divas. नारायण जी और स्वामी जी, आपको बहुत बहुत बधाई हो that you have done this. Thank you. Now, before I tell you about the program next Saturday, I would like to inform you that we have formed here Global Indian American for NAMO. as a Prime Minister. That is Global Indian American for Narendra Modi as the next Prime Minister of Bharat. दोस्तों, बहुत से लोग मुझे बोलते हैं कि बीजेपी, they are pessimistic, I would say, बीजेपी कैसे पावर में आएगी जब they have presence in South is almost negligible. But let me tell you one thing. Last month when I was in Bharat, I met Narendra Bhai. I could literally see the wind, the air, पूरा माहौल नरेंद्र मोदी कर रहा है. सब लोग बोल रहे थे नरेंद्र मोदी लाओ देश बचाओ, नरेंद्र मोदी लाओ देश बचाओ. Now in few sentences I'll just tell you how it is possible. In 2004, BJP won or came second in 271 seats. In 1999, the number was 294. So जैसे बाबा रामदेव जी बोल रहे थे कि बीजेपी 300 सीट विन करेगी, there is absolutely no doubt that BJP will win 300 seats and Narendra Modi will be the next Prime Minister of Bharat. Now let me tell you about the program next week. I know I have to go, yeah. October 5th, Saturday, from 3:30 to 6 at Hindu Temple Auditorium. We are celebrating 158th birthday of Swami Vivekananda. There is a laser show on the life of Swami Vivekananda. This is done by the world-renowned laserist Manik Sarkar. All of you who have come here on behalf of Indian American Natural Forum, you are their guests. So आज जो भी यहाँ आया है, though the ticket is $25 and $50, thanks to Narayan ji, he said कि आज जो भी यहाँ ticket लेगा, for them Indian American Intellectual Forum will sponsor them. So before you go, the ticket which is $25, $50 and $100, thanks to Narayan ji and Indian American Intellectual Forum, it is no charge for you. They will reimburse it. But you have to buy it today. And you can contact Narayan ji, Priya ji, Sri Sidwani ji is there, Arish Sahani ji is there, I am there, Rajni Bhaya ji is there. You must buy it before you leave. If you come there, the ticket will cost you $25. Thank you. Bharat Mata Ki! Bharat Mata Ki! Thank you. Dhanyavad.
I know some people are by the door. If you could kindly please take your seats. Dr. Subramanian Swamy will be speaking soon. Anyone who's by the door over there, please come in. I would like to again introduce Rajesh Kuti, who will be introducing Dr. Swamy. He is the founder of IndiaCause.com.
Welcome to all, and thank you very much for coming here. I think all of us are here to acknowledge we are leading luminaries here. And they would not be here without your participation, so thank you all for joining us. I would request at this point, everybody who's got mobile phones or taking pictures and videos to continue to do that, but switch off your ringer please. And anyone who would like to have a break, if you're comfortable, please have a seat. We're going to have a 30 to 40 minute spirited conversation with Dr. Swamy, followed by 5 to 10 minutes of question and answer session. And then anybody who would like to personally take photographs or autographs, you're welcome to do that a little later. So I got a challenging task after Swami Ramdev came like a whirlwind and got everybody passionate and into the speech. I'll try and minimize what I can say here so Dr. Swamy will be able to take the stage. In thought it's faith, in word wisdom, in deed courage, in life service, so may India be great. This reminds us of a Swami the one who wears orange robe, Swami Vivekananda, he believed that the essence of Hinduism was best expressed in Vedanta philosophy based on the interpretation of another great soul who protected Indian Dharma, Guru Sri Adi Shankara. He summarized the Vedanta's teachings as follows: each soul is potentially divine. The goal to manifest this divinity is by controlling the nature, external and internal. You could do this either by work, worship, mental discipline, philosophy, by one or all of these means, and then be free. This is the whole of religion. Doctrines, dogmas, rituals, books, temples, forms, everything else is secondary, and they are but details. If that is a mouthful, Swami Vivekananda summarized that as the gist of all worships is this: be pure and do good to all. There is another great Swami that reminds us today, the Paramacharya. He is the guru of Dr. Swamy, and he was involved in the Independence Day movement. He was one of the first person to discard the ritual of the Kanchi tradition of wearing silk robes and had khadi himself, and he encouraged everybody in his Dharma to follow the practice. He also composed a great poem called Maitri Bhajata. A lot of us talk about the Tryst of Destiny speech, but on the day of independence, he had composed this, and it was sung by a Bharat Ratna, MS Subbulakshmi, in the United Nations. I will skip the Sanskrit part, which is quite a challenge for me, and come to the translation. Anybody who is a connoisseur of Sanskrit will tell you it is very extremely difficult to convey the message in English. I will give it a close shot. With friendship, please serve and conquer all the hearts. Please think that others are like you. Please forsake war forever. Please forsake competition forever. Please forsake force to get someone else's property, and God our Father is most merciful. Restrain, donate, and be kind. There is a rejoinder to the prayer to Mother India. It reads, let rains shower in time, let earth brim with good grains, let this country be full of auspiciousness, and be free from agitation and affliction. Let righteous people be free from fear. There are a lot of sayings, but very few disciples actually carry out. One shining example is Dr. Subramanian Swamy. We are all friends of Swamy. We have hosted him for several years, and a lot of us are familiar with his work. I would like to just give a short introduction to folks who are young and new, and I've overheard conversations at the door asking why we need to be here. Now you will just find out in a few minutes why you are here. Dr. Swamy's early political career began, and he was known as the Clint Eastwood of the East. That was the only time perhaps as a Swami that he had a beard and came to India, and that he was responsible for the emergency movement to take a serious turn. The other two notable achievements as regards the foreign policy are, today if you are able to go to Lord Shiva's abode at Manas Sarovaram, Dr. Swamy was responsible in bringing that into effect in 1981. With Israel, Dr. Swamy was the first person. You can go ahead and cheer him. I think that is tremendous to the people. Dr. Swamy has expressed admiration for Israel, and he's credited Israel with the retaliatory capacity for its ability to survive in a hostile Arab environment. He was the first politician in official capacity to go to Israel, meet Yitzhak Rabin, the 5th Prime Minister, and open a consulate for India. This was in 1992. If that has happened, you can thank Dr. Swamy for it. All of us are familiar with the anti-corruption movement. I'm not sure how many of you know this. Dr. Swamy has founded, and he's the chairperson of Action Committee Against Corruption in India. It's called the ACACI. Its goal is a specific goal to take specific action against corruption at the very high places of government and Indian black money stashed abroad. If you have to thank somebody for that movement, this is the gentleman. Dr. Swamy's role in court activism is legendary, but I'm going to touch on a few points which are key to where the BJP team will take India back to where it belongs. The first is, of course, his role in 2G spectrum. Many people know about it now. He started writing letters to the Prime Minister of India back in 2008 and involved the court systems to get sanctioned to prosecute Telecom Minister A. Raja. If you have somebody to thank 2G scam to come out, it is Dr. Swamy here. Also, we all know there is a suspect EVM machines operating in India. One of the reasons we are coming up with a new electronic voting machine is on Dr. Swamy's initiative. He took the same approach of writing letters, got shot down at the High Court, did not stop at that. His persistence is legendary. He got the Supreme Court involved, and today we are able to get voter verifiable paper audit trail system called VVPAT. If you have to trust the new EVMs, you have a man to thank, Dr. Swamy. I will stop with one more note which Hindus are very fond of and dear to us. It's the Ram Setu. The Setu Samudram Shipping Channel and Project, SSSCP, has been halted, and if that has happened, there is one man to thank, and you know his name, Dr. Subramanian Swamy. I would welcome Dr. Subramanian Swamy, and there are a lot of us who think in 4 decades of Hindu activity in the US, there are a few who are our leaders, and they are called Virat Hindus in Dr. Swamy's glowing terms. I would like to welcome Dr. Kataria-ji, Sri Kataria-ji and Sahani-ji to come on here, and Dr. Swamy has a special gift to both of them. He's going to enrich them with more knowledge so we can have bigger audiences and more repeat performances. Hindu of America, Bharat Mata ki, Bharat Mata ki, Bharat Mata ki. Sahani ji is an excellent organizer, and without them, none of these functions would be possible. We have one more gentleman to thank. He's in Chicago, and he hosted Dr. Swamy for 2 days, and his name is Sri Elmanchi ji. The stage is for Dr. Swamy. Thank you.
Before Swamiji speaks, can you please write down all your questions that you would like on the index cards provided? If you don't have any, please raise your hand. I'll come and give it to you. He will do a Q&A session after he speaks. Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Kataria-ji, Sahani, and ladies and gentlemen, friends, brothers and sisters. I think after an unprecedentedly emotional speech by Baba Ramdev, there's not too much for me to add. Verily, he is a full karma yogi, going the lengths and breadths of India, and masses are in large numbers following him everywhere. We are today lucky that a large opposition party, the principal opposition party, the BJP, has got a credible candidate for the Prime Ministership of India. Narendra Modi comes with a track record of having performed in Gujarat. People say that the Congress party's candidate is going to be Rahul Gandhi. I normally never refer to him as Rahul Gandhi, but as Buddhu. People say, how do you know? I say, because I'm a professor, and I can recognize a Buddha student from an intelligent student. Now, he must be a Buddha, otherwise, how could you address that press conference? That ordinance was first approved by the Congress Party Core Committee. The chairman of that committee is Ms. Sonia Gandhi. The vice chairman of that committee is Rahul Gandhi. So in a committee of which he is the principal office bearer after his mother, it approves this ordinance. Of course we were against this ordinance, but he approves this ordinance. And then the cabinet meets and unanimously recommends it to the president. And suddenly walks into a press conference he didn't call. It was called by somebody else, and he just gets a step aside. And he says, "This is nonsense. It should be torn up and thrown away." Is this a sign of mental stability? In this country, in the United States, the medical records of every candidate, even for the Senate and Congress, would be under scrutiny. And I think in India also we need to bring that tradition. And if you bring the mental records, the records of, the health records of Mr. Rahul Gandhi, you will find that he underwent psychiatric care between 1985 and 87 under the supervision of Professor B.B. Sethi, who was for a long time professor of psychiatry in the University of Pennsylvania. Now, don't you think the country needs to know this? Because they are not truthful people. Ms. Sonia Gandhi once claimed that she had got on oath, on an affidavit, as a candidate which you have to file as for the Lok Sabha. She claimed that she got a degree in English from the University of Cambridge. It was just by accident I had gone to give a lecture at the University of Cambridge, and I asked them what kind of student she was. They said she was never a student here. We never had such a student. And I said, "Can you give it to me in writing?" So they said yes, and the registrar of the university gave it to me in writing. That we never had a student by name Sonia Gandhi. And by way of abundant precaution, I also gave her other names: Edwige, Albina, Antonia, Mino. And they said none of these names we ever had a student. And when I brought it to the notice of the speaker and asked our Lok Sabha to ask him to ask her, she replied that it was a printing mistake. And you tell me, how can you have a printing mistake of a one full sentence which says studied in the University of Cambridge and got a degree in English? You can have a printing mistake, typing mistake, which is a comma and a full stop. But you can't have a whole sentence printing mistake. Where was she born? Don't know. What's her real name? Don't know. What is her father doing? Where did he work? Because I know by my own research that he was a soldier in the Nazi army. Nazis invaded Russia, he was taken prisoner, and he was kept in Vladimir jail for 4 years. The Russians the Soviets released him very quickly because they never released any other soldier before 20 years. The only people they released early were those who signed up with the KGB. That also we have that evidence. Now, can you imagine in the United States a candidate for the Prime Minister who comes from a Nazi family? Will this be tolerated? So therefore, I say to you that today we are on the verge of what would be called as a Mahabharata. The only thing is that in the way things are developing, the contest is not going to be there. It is going to be a walkover for the BJP if the only candidate they can think of is Rahul Gandhi. Now, we now have to think in terms of a renaissance for India. We were the most developed country till 1700 by all contemporary standards. Visitors from abroad like the Chinese, monks, Parsi and Yuan Chuan, Vasco da Gama from Portugal, Mark Twain from the United States, and many other visitors have written long books about their experiences, and they say what a great country it is, what a nice people they are, how honest we are, all the things we are not today, that was said about us till 1700. Today, we are considered the most corrupt country in the world. We are considered a country which is most terrorist afflicted. The number of incidents that take place, terrorist attacks take place in India is more than any other country. So even more than Iraq. This is compiled by the American, an American publication. So I say all these problems have to be solved, and they are solvable. The economy can grow fast again. Between 1950 and 1990, people used to snigger about India's growth rate as the Hindu rate of growth. It was actually the Soviet model rate of growth, 3.5% per year. At that time, I suddenly unexpectedly became minister in the Chandrasekhar government. I was the senior most minister. My advisor was Mr. Manmohan Singh, whom I brought after he had migrated to Switzerland. Maybe I shouldn't have brought him back, but he's very good as an officer. He performed very well. My Commerce Secretary was Montek Singh Alwalia. We produced the blueprints. I got it through the cabinet, but the government fell. The successor government came, Mr. Narasimha Rao. He put his entire political weight to get it done. There's no appreciation for him at all. He had to die in disgrace, the way Manmohan Singh may die. People say, hasn't he got any shame? Why doesn't he resign? I say, that's the only saving grace. I don't want Manmohan Singh to resign, because the alternative to Manmohan Singh is much worse than Manmohan Singh. The best contribution Manmohan Singh can make is refuse to resign till 2014. After that, we'll get rid of the Congress as a whole. What happened to the rupee? Why did it fall like this? It's got nothing to do with the economy. It has got to do with the fact that two important relatives, one the son of the finance minister, Mr. Karti Chidambaram, and the other the son-in-law of Ms. Sonia Gandhi, Mr. Robert Vadra, one in Singapore and another based in Dubai. They did short selling of the rupee. What is short selling? I take $1 from you and promise to return at the rate of 60 rupees per dollar, and I promise to return to you within 1 week 61 rupees or 62 rupees. So it is no money of yours. You have taken somebody's $1, but you have promised to return in 61 or 62 rupees. And then within that week the thing falls to 65. So you give him back at 62 or 61, and the remaining 3 or 4 rupees is your pure profit without putting a single penny into the deal. This is called forward trading in commodities. It's called short selling in rupee. But you run a danger. Supposing the price falls below 60, goes to 58, then you are ruined, because you have sunk in millions of dollars. Not $1 you take, millions of dollars. So you've got to be assured that that will not happen. So Mr. Vadra, through his mother-in-law, and Mr. Karti Chidambaram, through his father, ensure that no policy is followed by the government by which the dollar price can come down. What could the government have done? We have $277 billion as reserves. Just take 20 billion out of that and put it in the market. The price of rupee would have come down to from 60 to 50, instead of going up to 65 and 68. But there was an assurance that that will not happen. And they made millions and millions of dollars of profit, these two relatives. And the country was the loser. The day I made a public announcement and said where exactly these two are doing it. The next day, the Governor of Reserve Bank initiated this open market operations of putting dollars in the market, and since then the price has now come down to 63. So this is loot. This is a rectifiable problem. India can, in my opinion, may not be good news for you NRIs, but the price of the rupee, the dollar will come down from 60 to 40 within 1 year, and from 40 to 10 in 5 years. So if you are an importer in India, you'll be happy. Much cheaper it will be. And similarly, today there are such large number of suicides in our agriculture. Is this a rectifiable problem? Of course it is a rectifiable problem. The first problem with agriculture is that over the last 5 decades, the investment in agriculture has come down. Mahatma Gandhi had said that the first priority must be agriculture. Why? Because the British sucked the agriculture fully dry, bone dry. Why? Because in 1857, the peasantry of India, they put their entire wealth and money in the hands of Rani Jhansi and others to throw the British out. Due to certain miscalculations, we didn't win that war. They win that war. But we really mounted a massive upheaval, and that's why Veer Savarkar correctly calls it the first war of India's independence, for India's independence. The British called it mutiny. That is a degrading word to use for us. But the British realized at that time that the peasantry is in revolt. British historians have written many times during the 19th century that the day the peasantry rise up, the day the Indian army recruited by the British revolts, that is the day for the British to leave India. So when they saw this, they decided to crush it. And they created this zamindari system, where criminals were empowered to extract any amount of money that they wanted from the farmers. For land, for revenue for the British. The British fixed a quota. We must get annually so much money. You can collect as much as you like, but we must get it. We must get this amount to run the administration of India. And so these criminal elements were given powers to take the land away if they couldn't pay the amount they wanted, take their brothers and uncles and relatives' land also, seize that if they couldn't pay, and nothing was left for the farmer. Agriculture was completely squeezed by 1947. We had a yield per acre which was larger than China's in 1870. It became half of China in 1947. And China itself was under attack from foreign powers, and its agriculture was being neglected. But there was no extraction of resources. At that time, Jawaharlal Nehru imposed a model where it required for industrialization to extract resources from agriculture. There were no resources to extract. Therefore, we had a huge food problem, which we ultimately solved through the Green Revolution. So, today agriculture, what is the problem? It is the most potentially progressive sector of your country. 12 months of the year you can do agriculture in India, not in the United States. 5 months you have snowfall here. Europe, the same thing. India, you can do 12 months of the year agriculture, which means you can grow 3 crops. We grow only in 25% of our land more than 1 crop. 75% nothing. India can triple its agricultural production without additional investment, provided you make this arrangement for adequate water and fertilizer to triple its production. You know, the yield per acre in the Indian Agricultural Research Institute experimental plots, which is part of India, is 6 times the yield per acre in the rest of the country, outside these experimental plots. Only by giving water, fertilizer, good seeds, Indian Agricultural Research Institute is able to demonstrate in the same soil that it can get 6 times the yield per acre. And we have not done so. If we make arrangements to see that every farmer gets adequate water, fertilizer, and pesticides, it can increase its production 6 times. Yield per acre of rice is the lowest in India amongst the large countries. Yield per acre even of cotton is lower than that of Egypt on the sands of Egypt. So that means it can go up. I've told you in many of my previous lectures that we have 150 million cows, but they give you only 200 liters per year. An average Israeli cow gives you 11,000 liters per year. Imagine if 150 million cows started giving you 11,000 liters per year. You can have your bath in milk, that much milk you will produce. And its price is 1/15 to that of the milk in Europe. So you export it. You need cold storages, you need small airports, you need packaging industry. All these things if you do. So agriculture, in my opinion, is the lead sector for India. And Narendra Modi has shown it in agriculture, in Gujarat, where agriculture has grown at 11 to 12% per year, the last 10 years consistently. It can be done in the whole of India, particularly in UP, Bihar, where the Gangetic Plain is there. So here's the potential. You have the youngest population in the world amongst the large countries. Average age of an Indian is only 27. Average age of a Chinese is 37 thanks to their idiotic one child per family policy. And average age of an American is 38. Would have been more but for immigration. Average age of Europe is 46. Average age of Japanese is 50. These are all aging populations. Ours is a young population. And why is a young population important? Because history of economic development shows that it is new innovations which accelerate your growth rate. In the Industrial Revolution came because of locomotives and Bessemer steel plant. Then the American Revolution came because of jet engines, telexes and so on. And the 1990s boom came because of internet. Today internet has revolutionized the way you do production. Tomorrow, new inventions like hydrogen fuel cells. Today we are dependent on the Arabs for oil, 85% of oil. We can look for substitutes. The Americans will not look for substitutes because they have got lots of oil. They put them all underground in storages. And now they've got shale oil also. So the American oil companies will not let you do research on hydrogen fuel cells. But we can. We have already done plenty of research. And if you, India and China, go to hydrogen fuel cells for automobiles, then the Arab countries, all the Arab sheikhs will have to go back to their tents and climb on the camels again. Tell me, from Morocco to Indonesia, which Arab country has produced industry? Which Arab country has produced any research? They have plenty of money. But it's all because they can dig a hole in the ground and something will come out of it. Some black gold will come, you sell it and make money. And you build buildings and you hire foreigners to run your financial services. Like that, there are plenty. India has got plenty of capacity to do use solar energy, wind energy. So all this requires new minds coming out of universities. We should build top-class universities. United States, all top-class universities are run by alumni, not by the government of the United States. I think now NRIs have reached a stage where if we encourage you, you are in a position to build 100 top-class universities in our country. And I discussed this with Narendra Modi before coming. I can tell you NRIs have a special place for us because you have demonstrated your capacity. You have now become the highest per capita income community. And we would like to see that you participate in the knowledge industry of India. You enhance our knowledge, you increase our capacity to make new inventions, and we should ensure, like the Jewish community does for Israel. So the same way we can do it for ourselves. So I don't think there's any problem. There's no shortage of resources in India. If I had auctioned 2G spectrum, I would have got 1,76,000 crores. Don't go by Kapil Sibal's estimate of 0, because that poor man can't count beyond 0. 1,76,000 for 2G. 4G is coming. 4G you will get 4 lakh crores. If you had auctioned the coal blocks, you would have got 11 lakh rupees. If you had auctioned the oil fields that you gave free to Ambani's, you would have got 24 lakh rupees. What is the total income tax, personal income tax revenue that the government of India gets? 2 lakh crores only. Here is 4, 11, 24. We have 60% of the world's thorium in our country. 60% of the world's thorium. By 2050, uranium will be exhausted. The United States already started research on thorium. We had started much earlier thanks to Baba, but because of this Indo-US nuclear agreement, this has all been scuttled. The third stage, which is the final stage of research, has been stopped. But the sand of Kerala and Tamil Nadu have monazite, which has the thorium. And today, illegally, it is being scooped by Indian companies, Indian smugglers, and exported to the United States. If instead of that, a portion of it, which is we have got, since we have got excess thorium, if we have to auction it, the amount, the demand that is there, and its proper pricing, you would get 44 lakh rupees. There are 70, the Ramdev gave an estimate of 100 lakh crores of Indians having money in foreign bank accounts. That can be brought back in India very quickly. For that, I can tell you a good ordinance. I have vetted it with all the top legal experts, and it's a question of bringing out an ordinance which exploits the United Nations resolution of 2005, where you declare that every Indian account in 70 countries which do illegal banking, their deposits and their bank accounts are nationalized by the government of India. These 70 countries are obliged to return, give that money back to you. If anyone can show that his bank account was opened legitimately, or the deposits were legal, then that account would be returned. You can get this money back. There's no shortage of resources in India. And therefore, there is nothing that can stop India if we have a focused leadership, and which is precisely what Narendra Modi demonstrated in Gujarat. Terrorism, we are attacked every day. What for? Because we don't retaliate. There's no retaliation. The Pakistanis come across our border and cut the heads of 4 soldiers. Except tear jerking, there's nothing. The Prime Minister goes and meets this Nawaz Sharif. What for? Dialogue is important. Dialogue with whom? He's a nobody. He may have the title. Of course, both Prime Ministers are nobodies. Maybe they should meet. But Nawaz Sharif was being elected with them at the mercy after his abject surrender to the Taliban, to the mullahs and the ISI. He cannot move even a single file without the clearance of these 3 elements. And these three elements are hostile to India. They are now singing the song of occupying India and ruling India again. There is an answer to this. Pakistan is no match for us, provided we can neutralize China. I am 100% certain that India can neutralize China. There are ways to do it, not by being nice to them like Jawaharlal Nehru was, not by bartering Indian territory, but by showing to them that we can strangle them if we want. One way to strangle the Chinese is Malacca Strait. 90% of Chinese freight traffic and oil traffic, exports, imports, all pass through Malacca Strait. On one side is sitting India, in Car Nicobar's lowest point, which is called Indira Point. It used to be called Pygmalion Point, but now named after Indira Gandhi. And across, just 90 kilometers across, is Indonesia, a hostile state for China. Indonesia and India have many common connections. If we agree to a military pact that we will police, like the Suez Canal is policed, we will police the Malacca Strait. And if we can do that, then you can close down Chinese freight traffic. And if Chinese freight traffic is closed, then there will be starved. So that's one very, very important way of doing it. China's entire economic model depends on getting semi-processed goods from East Asia, processing it and sending it abroad. They put, of course, a stamp made in China. Lenovo computer, do you think the Chinese make it? It's made by the Taiwanese. And all the Chinese put it. Why can't we attract the East Asians to send their semi-processed goods through? And India's labor is cheaper. And we are a democratic country. Keeping schedules. We have a horrible infrastructure. That infrastructure can be rectified. Focus on it. Give people what they call as from beginning to end, what turnkey, or whatever it's called. You give them complete freedom to build an infrastructure, build a road system, power system. Tell people on contract, come and do as you do feel like, we'll clear the way for you. Let the Chinese do it. We can build a top-class infrastructure. We can. We produce the best roads in the world outside India. Malaysia, Iraq. In fact, Bush appreciated the roads built by Saddam Hussein, but it was not built by Saddam Hussein. He contracted it to us. We built it. Nigeria. But we can't build it in India because of corruption. Finally, corruption is an issue. Incidentally, I would like to say, we had Mr. Nehru speak here just now about Kashmiri Pandit's problem. Yes. Kashmiri Pandit's problem cannot be solved by asking the Pandits to go back, because they will be butchered. We need to first create a climate, an infrastructure by which the Kashmiri Pandits can go back and feel secure. And I have advocated the best way to do that is that out of this 1 crore ex-servicemen we have, we select out those able-bodied people of at least 10 lakhs. Because 5 lakhs Kashmiris were driven out, so as a deterrent we should send back 10 lakhs into Kashmir. Send these ex-servicemen. Let them go and occupy those houses which were vacated by our Kashmiri Pandits. And let them establish the infrastructure of security. People of Kashmir, incidentally, are not against you. I went on May 22nd this year and addressed a public meeting where the public was invited. It was a hall of twice this size, fully full of ordinary Kashmiri citizens, all Muslims. I addressed a meeting there in Lal Chowk where nobody after Indira Gandhi has addressed it. because it's a hotbed. It's a hotbed of the militants. But we held it. The press asked me, what will you say about plebiscite? I said, what plebiscite? The king of Kashmir signed an instrument of accession, like 450 other kingdoms. It is unconditional merger. Instrument of accession has no reference whatsoever to plebiscite or finding out the will of the people. So I said, instrument of accession does not have plebiscite. Where's the question of my speaking about plebiscite? No, Jawaharlal Nehru gave this assurance. So I said, then you go and ask Jawaharlal Nehru. They said, Jawaharlal Nehru, how can we go and ask him now? I said, you don't go and talk to a terrorist, he will dispatch you where he is. The people there told me, we are, and especially the women of Kashmir, Muslim women, we would prefer to be with India. But the terrorists say that India will give up Kashmir. They said no for Pakistan, then gave it up. When your own 5 lakh Hindu Pandits have been driven out and you have done nothing about it, where are you going to protect us? Assure us that you will not give up Kashmir under any circumstance and we will be with you and we will fight with you. This is what the Muslims of Kashmir told. Our problem is just that. We have been placating all the wrong elements. Terrorism is now getting domesticated. Young boys from different parts of India are now joining terrorist movements. We have got to rectify it. Infiltration has taken place from Bangladesh. 1/3 of its population come to India. Bangladesh minister told me this is economically driven because India has better prospects. So these people come, we can't stop them. I said the fundamental premise on which partition was done. There was no Pakistan. It was created out of India. The fundamental division out of which it was done was that those Muslims who don't want to live with the Hindus, they must have some separate country. And the British created that on that basis. Now if after creating Pakistan, which later became Pakistan and Bangladesh, these same Muslims returned back to live with Hindus, then why did you have partition? So I told the Bangladesh minister, 1/3 of your population has come to India. You please give me back 1/3 of the territory so that I can put them there. So first he tried to joke with me, he said, which 1/3? So I said, Khulna to select, draw a line on the map, you see the entire area above that. We can't do it. Or I said, you take back your people. Don't expect me to put barbed wires and so on. It just ends up corrupting our BSF. That is the kind of language people understand. We can take back, we must now enter into an agreement with Afghanistan. Because Taliban has practically taken over Pakistan. Next year when Obama leaves Afghanistan, the Taliban will take over there. Already the Americans are talking about good Taliban and bad Taliban, like good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. How can you have a good Taliban? Let me tell you, I have never faulted the Muslims for what they do because their mind is clear. I fault the Hindus because they are always confused. You see, like this Arjuna sitting, whether I should kill my brother or not kill my brother. So Ramayana and Mahabharata made it very clear. What is the basis of morality? When Karna's chariot got stuck in the mud and he got down to try and lift it out, Krishna said to Arjuna, kill him now. He said, how can I? Am I Kshatriya? A man is bending downwards. He said, yeah, when you was taking your wife's sari off, that time where was your valor? That time you kept quiet. This is the time to kill him. He doesn't deserve any morality. When Rama hid behind a tree and killed this Bali, Bali dying said, "Hey Maryada Purushottam, where is your valor? Hid behind a tree and killed me like a coward. You should come before me and we should have had an open fight." So Rama said, "Who are you to talk to me about morality? You stole the wife of Sugriv. You told her took away his kingdom. And now you give me lectures on morality. Morality is only between two moral people, not between an immoral and So in dealing with Pakistan today, we can't talk about morality, peace and so on. Islam teaches Muslims that where they are in majority, don't give any place for the minority. That's what they've done in Kashmir. That's what they do anywhere. In Saudi Arabia, you can't build a temple. You've got so many Hindus there as workers. You can't celebrate Diwali. You cannot even hold Satyanarayana Puja inside your house. Can we do that in India, where we are in power and in majority? We can't. In Saudi Arabia, a masjid is not a religious place. The Saudi Arabian government breaks masjids and builds roads. They even broke the masjid where Muhammad used to read namaz, called the Bilal Masjid in Makkah. I asked the Saudi Arabian ambassador once, I took him out for lunch, "Is this true?" He said, "Yes, because masjid is not a religious place, it's a facilitation center for reading namaz." Can I say that Ayodhya Babri Masjid is a facilitation center for reading namaz? Can I say that for Vrindavan? Can I say that for Kashi Vishwanath? There are 30,000 temples which were at least demolished, maybe more. But I am telling you about these three most important. I think, in my opinion, the next BJP government should issue notice to the mutwalis of these three masjids and say, please vacate this masjid, we'll build you another masjid a little further down. But there, these three will become temples once again. And that is so it is, we have to have clarity. Today, Muslims in Gujarat have started voting for BJP. I asked one Muslim, why are you doing this? He said, I don't like Modi, but one thing is certain, that last 12 years, we haven't had a single communal riot. Before that, every 3 months we used to have a communal riot. Ultimately, we want peace and security. And this is what we are getting. The rest of India also the same way. Today, by the way, the Muslim community is got divided. The Shias are voting for us. They have already declared. The Ahmadis, Ahmadiyas, they don't even accept as Muslims, the Pakistanis, I mean the Wahhabi Muslims. Then the Khoja, Bora, and then you had Barelvi Muslims. That's 25% of Islam, I mean Islamic vote, Muslim vote. The only remaining 75% of that 14%, or whatever it is, 12%, 13%, 14%, that is it. So, last time in 2009, the BJP got 27% of the vote. You get a quarter of the 14%, will go to 30. And the new Modi factor, you get 10. BJP alone will get absolute majority with 40% of the vote. They say, is this possible? I said, what happened in 1977? 5 political parties merged to form Janata Party. These 5 political parties, 1971 vote, if you add it up, came to only 22%. And people used to ask me, how is this possible? That from 22% you will go to 43%, 42% that you need for majority. I said, election is not mathematics, it is chemistry. Sometimes 2 plus 2 is 22, sometimes 2 plus 2 is 0. And I am saying today that because people want democracy, people don't want coercion, therefore they are going to vote in big numbers and we will get majority. And Janata Party got 43% of the vote, up from 22%. Today we have to just go from 27% to 40%. And you will get absolute majority. And with the help of the Akali Dal and Shiv Sena, you will cross 300. So the possibilities are there. Of course, there are people who will go on discouraging you till last moment, and then they will do a somersault and come back to you saying, we always against Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. Not to worry. Today our job is only one. You are here. I would like to use your abilities to find out solutions to some of the problems post-formation of government. If you are interested in contesting, coming to help in the election, I will only say, you do only one thing. Where you are residing, in that there will be a polling booth. Every parliamentary constituency has 1,500 polling booths. You pick one polling booth, or two polling booths, or three polling booths. Each polling booth has 1,000 votes. Get hold of the voter list and go to each of these 1,000 voters' addresses and check whether the fellow is still alive, whether he is migrated, whether he is given, not registered, whatever. Get the correct update version of the voting votes. Give it to the BJP. The polling booth agent sitting in the booth, when he sees a man comes and says, I am Ram Saran, or so and so, BJP guy will know, thanks to your efforts, that this guy was dead 6 months ago. So he has come to impersonate him, can have him arrested. It's a criminal offense. That contribution you can make. Campaigning, tell all the candidates of the BJP or the ADA, don't come to our area. We are going to every house and telling them, go and vote. And on the day of the voting also, you go to houses and make people go. Otherwise, they might be tempted to watch cricket match and not go to vote. Or they'll say, jeet rahe hain, BJP is anyway winning, what does it matter if I don't go? So that attitude you can fight. That's the contribution you can make. Or in this country, examine how we can build our infrastructure. Give us a paper of 3-4 pages on power systems, how to get power systems developed in India where there is a common grid and everybody gets electricity at least 18 hours a day at a voltage which is plus minus 10 volts of 220. Not these wild fluctuations that take place. These are the areas you can contribute. And I think, you see, you are all equipped to do it. So I say today, as we look at the picture, that a new dawn is visible. Baba Ramdev's speech was not an ordinary speech. He has done a tremendous amount. They have targeted him. They have raided his place. They have humiliated him. Even for London, they sent an advance message that he is carrying some contraband, something that which is terrorists want, and therefore he should be intercepted. And it went to the bureaucracy of Britain, and they detained him for 8 hours till the political authority intervened and got him out. So, I mean, he is today playing literally, as I said, I wasn't exaggerating when I said, playing the role of Vishwamitra. Other sadhus are also there, they're doing it more silently. There's a Hindu Dharma Acharya Sabha of all prominent sadhus there. They have decided that when the elections are declared, they will go to villages and say, vote for BJP. So, victory is certain. And with it we must bring this cultural revolution. This overriding Hindu identity. They say, oh, Hindu identity, that's communal. Say, you are 80%. How can 80% of the country be communal? If we were 10%, 15%, you can say so. That you are only looking at yourself as community. Here we are asking you to rise above your varna, your jati, your language, your region, and become one. And if 80% of the Hindus unite, then we are actually creating national unity. And we welcome Muslims and Christians, provided they accept that their ancestors are Hindus, which is the truth, which is what the DNA studies say. Their problem is this, there is a concept in Arabic, there's a word called salabi or something like that, or salali, where it just means hierarchy. For the Muslim to acknowledge, at least the mullah to acknowledge that my ancestors are Hindu, it lowers his hierarchy. He must be known as one of the or descendant of an Arab conqueror. That is the problem. But minus these mullahs, minus these hotheads, minus these militants and terrorists, the broad masses of Muslims, if they found an Hindu community united and ready to accommodate them, they will break loose from those people and join us, and we can create a Hindustan of Hindus and those others whose ancestors are Hindus. That is the identity we should work with. And slowly bringing Sanskrit, which is now being accepted in the NASA as the language which is the most computer compliant language in the world today, is being declared by NASA as Sanskrit. You can see it in the Google if you want Google. Sanskrit, you can learn here also. You are NRIs, you have such a lot of facility for learning languages with DVDs and cassettes and so on, that you should see that your younger generation learns Sanskrit. And it's easy to learn, it's necessary to learn because it's the language of the future. Sanskrit will return through the Sanskritization of vocabulary of Hindi. Over a period of time, it will become Sanskrit itself. Like Pali, after Sanskritization, became Sanskrit again. So, a huge, magnificent future waits India. United States will need us because they don't have manpower, we do. In fact, they are going to have shortage of skilled labor, and we will have a surplus of 47 million skilled labor by 2030. And the United States will have to change its, I mean, they will themselves change. You don't have to ask the visa regime to invite Indians. We have strategic commonality with America because the militants have identified 3 countries who are enemies of Islam: India, Israel, and the United States. And these 3 countries, therefore, are natural friends. We don't have to be stooges of any of these, but we can be friends. With the Americans, we have commonality in democracy, market economy, freedom of expression, so many other things we have in common. Of course, the Americans, if you give them half a chance, they will make you into a colony, like they've done with Japan and Australia. But we can't. We have our own independence, and we have neighbors with whom we have to deal. The Chinese have to be dealt with and brought around to our point of view. The day we separate the Chinese from the Pakistanis, that is the day Pakistan will be reduced to 4 countries. Last time it was 2 countries, this time it will come 4 countries, and the continuum will be 16 countries. It's not a natural union. People of Balochistan and Sindh have been urging India for years to help them to create a separate country. We have not done it the way they have done in Kashmir. We have not done any work there. But if we do, there will be no Pakistan. It will be reduced to Punjab, and then it will become manageable. So all these problems have solution. India was the world's most developed country once upon a time. It is now our destiny to make it once again the world's most developed country. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Swamy. We are blessed here to have you. A vote of thanks to end this program by Mr. Arish Sahani.
Thank you very much for coming, and I want to thank all of you who attended today. And as we are running out of time, there is no question and answer session right now. You can send an email at swami39@gmail.com. Now we have to leave this hall as soon as possible. Anybody who wants to get pictures with Dr. Swamy, they can be in the lobby. And you are all welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. Hope you will come next time again. And good day to everybody.